A lot of financial advice out there is incomplete. It's like trying to build a house with missing pieces. It just doesn't work. After reading countless books on money, I realized I was missing one key piece, which I will reveal later on in this video. To save you from the same mistake, I've distilled what I learned into 5 different categories with a quick summary of my personal takeaways. This guide would have been incredibly helpful when I first started on my personal finance journey, and I hope it will get you closer to your goals. So let's get started. First, let's talk about understanding investments. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins was a book that really changed how I think about investing. Collins keeps it straightforward. Focus on investing in low-cost index funds and stay the course. He talks about something that he calls FU money. This is the idea that you have enough savings and investments to walk away from any situation or job that doesn't suit you anymore. Imagine the freedom of being able to say no to something because you don't need the money, because you've planned well. And to achieve that, Collins suggests putting your money into a total stock market index fund. Historically, these funds have shown solid returns, which means your money will grow over time without much work on your part. This strategy helps to avoid the stress of picking stocks or trying to predict market trends. And speaking about predicting the market, I will speak about it in a bit when referring to another book as well. But first, let's speak about John C. Bogle's The Little Book of Common Sense Investing, which echoes this advice. Bogle believes that the best way to grow your money over time is by investing in a diversified portfolio of index funds and holding on to them. Even when the market is unpredictable, sticking to this simple strategy tends to work out well in the long run. He uses the story of the tortoise and the hare to explain his point. In this story, the tortoise wins the race by being slow and steady, while the hare loses because it tries to be fast but doesn't have the same endurance. In investing, being like the tortoise, consistent and patient, can lead to better results than trying to be quick and clever like the hare. The active investors are the hares. They try to beat the market, but more than often fail. While those who invest in index funds and stay the course will outperform them over the long term, like the tortoises. This analogy highlights the importance of patience and consistency in investing. It reminded me that the slow and steady approach is sometimes the more effective strategy. Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor is another important book. Graham introduces the idea of Mr. Market, who represents the stock market. Mr. Market is moody. One day he's offering high prices because he is optimistic. And the next day he's offering low prices because he's feeling down. Graham's point is that these mood swings are based on emotion rather than the real value of the stocks. To make this clearer, think of Mr. Market as a friend who comes over every day with an offer to buy and sell your shares. Sometimes he's overly excited and wants to buy your shares for a high price. Other times he's worried and wants to sell his shares to you cheaply. Graham's advice is to not get caught up in Mr. Market's emotions. Instead, focus on the true value of your investments. If Mr. Market is overly pessimistic and offers a low price, it might be a good time for you to buy. If he's overly optimistic and offers a high price, it might be a good time to sell. Or simply hold on to your investments and ignore Mr. Market altogether. He also uses a simple example to explain how randomness can lead people to make poor decisions. Imagine flipping a coin 5 times and it lands on heads each time. You might start to believe that heads is more likely to come up on the next flip. But in reality, the odds are still 50-50. Human brains are wired to detect patterns even where none exist. This can lead to errors in reasoning about random events. The example shows how easy it is to be fooled by short-term patterns, which can be dangerous when investing. If you jump into a stock just because it has been doing well recently, without understanding the company's real value, you might end up making a bad investment. Now let's shift to another important topic, earning more money. In today's cost of living crisis, it's also about finding ways to bring in more income as there's only so much you can save once you have covered your basic needs. Jack Nasher's Convinced offers great tips on how to negotiate effectively. One of the most powerful techniques is called anchoring. This means that when you are in a negotiation, you start with the first offer or terms, which sets the stage for the rest of the discussion. For example, if you're asking for a raise, you could start by mentioning a higher salary, but make sure it's still reasonable. If you can show how your work has helped the company to increase revenue or save money, it makes your request even stronger. This technique not only shows your value, but also helps you get closer to what you're asking for. Ashley Stahl's U-Turn focuses on finding a career that makes you happy and fulfilled. She shares her personal story from working in counterterrorism to becoming a career coach. Her experience shows that making more money is not just about negotiating better, it's also about finding work that excites and motivates you. When you love what you do, you are more likely to succeed and as a result increase your income. She also emphasizes the importance of knowing your core skills and values. These are the things that you're naturally good at and the beliefs that matter most to you. If you can identify these, you can choose a career that aligns with them, which will lead you to personal satisfaction and financial growth. To share my personal example, I started my career at 18 in fashion sales. Following my studies, I switched industries and moved into tech sales. After working in tech sales for over 2 years, I transitioned to a partner manager role and ultimately hired a team and built a department from scratch. Although I was switching industries and job titles, all of these developments had one thing in common: my core skill set of communication, entrepreneurship, and planning. With each step, I not only gained a greater sense of fulfillment, but every time I would also receive an appropriate pay raise. Now, let's dive into the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, which presents some really interesting ideas about work and life. What I really liked about this book was him challenging the traditional way of thinking about work. Overall, he encourages you to focus on lifestyle design. This means creating a life that fits your personal goals rather than just working a 9-to-5 only because everyone else does. Ferriss introduces the idea of working smarter, not harder, by automating tasks and outsourcing work others can do for you. One key lesson that I personally took from Ferriss's book was about remote work. When I moved to Sweden, I negotiated with my employer to work remotely. This change allowed me to be more productive while also enjoying the flexibility of living in a new country. Knowing what to do with your money is important, but it's useless unless you take the right actions and build the right habits. When we speak about building financial habits, we cannot but speak about the best-selling book Atomic Habits by James Clear. What stuck with me the most is that it is all about the power of small, consistent habits. It's not the big dramatic changes that lead to lasting success, but about the tiny, everyday habits we build over time. He illustrates this with the idea of 1% better every day. If you improve by 1% each day, you multiply your progress by 1.10 daily. By the end of the year, you will be 37 times better than you were at the start. This is incredibly relevant when it comes to personal finance and building habits around it. If you start by saving and investing a little bit of money every month, for example $10, you can gradually increase that amount. Over time, you will be surprised how much you have saved, and all without the feeling like you made a huge sacrifice. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi provides a straightforward, step-by-step guide to managing and growing your money. The author covers practical topics like automating your finances, investing, and conscious spending. What I found most helpful was the concrete roadmap on how to take control of your finances. He breaks down complex financial concepts into simple, easy to understand actions you can take right away. Instead of focusing on cutting out small pleasures like your latte, he suggests automating your finances and then spending extravagantly on the things you love. And all of that guilt-free. For instance, if you're passionate about traveling, allocate funds to that while cutting back on the things that don't matter as much to you. This method ensures that your spending aligns with your values while still allowing for financial security. Which brings me to the next category, intentional spending. One book that has profoundly shaped my perspective is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Naval Ravikant, a renowned entrepreneur, angel investor, and writer, offers a unique perspective on what it means to be truly wealthy. Honestly, reading this book was as if someone went into my mind and wrote down all of my thoughts and notions. Even though Ravikant didn't write the book himself, the writings are a summary of his thoughts and ideas. True wealth is not merely about accumulating wealth, but it's about having the freedom and flexibility to live life on your own terms. He suggests that real wealth is about spending your money intentionally on things that truly matter to you, which in turn creates a richer and more fulfilling life. This idea helped me to realize that money is a tool to enhance your life and not just something to amass. True wealth is about more than just financial success. It's about living a life that aligns with your values and your authentic self. Next up is Morgan Housel's Same as Ever. In his most recent book, the author speaks about how our spending habits are influenced by timeless human behaviors and societal patterns. He explains that many of our decisions are made by things we can't control, like peer pressure and cultural norms. For instance, he discusses the keeping up with the Joneses idea, where people spend money just to fit in or show off, even if they don't really need or want these things. Social media plays a big role in this too. Also points out how seeing others' perfect lives online, like their fancy vacations or expensive purchases, can make us feel like we need to spend more to keep up. By understanding these patterns, he encourages us to take a step back and make financial decisions that truly reflect our own values rather than being influenced by what others are doing. Now let's discuss how your mindset and psychology play a huge role in how you manage and grow your wealth, which was the key piece I was missing all along. First on the list is The Psychology of Money, another book by Morgan Housel. It's one of my all-time favorites because I'm really interested in the psychology of people. Housel shares fascinating stories how our thoughts and emotions shape our financial decisions. He makes us think about the question of how much money do I really need and how much money do I need to earn to become wealthy. One of the stories that impressed me the most was about a janitor called Ronald Reed. Even though he had a modest income, he quietly built a fortune of $8 million by living frugally, saving consistently, and investing wisely over many years. Ronald Reed lived simply, driving an old car and even cutting his own firewood. He didn't make a lot of money, but his disciplined approach of saving and investing in strong, reliable stocks and bonds allowed his wealth to grow over time significantly. The story highlights a key lesson from the book. Patience and the power of compounding can lead to financial success, no matter how much you earn. Another book that I absolutely devoured is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. While it isn't specifically a book about money, I personally believe that it's incredibly relevant to personal finance. Essentialism is all about prioritizing what truly matters and cutting out the distractions. This mindset is foundational for building true wealth because it helps you to focus on your goals and ensures that your actions align with them. By adopting the essential principle of doing less but better, you can develop a lifestyle that aligns with your long-term financial goals and enhances your overall efficiency in both earning and spending. Personally, I found this approach invaluable when I started leading a team and building a department. By concentrating on what truly mattered, I was able to set up a high-performing, content team, which not only led to adequate pay, but also to personal fulfillment. I will be making an entire video about essentialism, so stay tuned to learn more about how this principle can help you lead a more fulfilling life and also to be more successful in your career. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a classic book about how a positive attitude can help you achieve financial success. Hill studied many successful people and noticed they all had some things in common. They were determined, focused, and they believed strongly in their goals. A great example from the book is the story about Edwin C. Barnes. Barnes had a big dream of becoming a business partner with the famous inventor Thomas Edison. Even though he started with little money and no connections, Barnes stayed positive and confident. His determination and focus eventually led him to achieve his goal of becoming a business partner with Thomas Edison, which eventually made him a lot of money. This example shows the main lesson of the book. If you stay positive and keep your goals in mind, you can overcome challenges and build the wealth you want. So what's the next step? You can start today by evaluating where you are in each of these areas. Are you investing wisely? Are you taking action and forming good habits? How are you spending money and what's your mindset like? If you're looking for more guidance on your financial journey, then I have linked some videos up here for you to watch. For example, about the 7 levels of financial freedom or money habits keeping you poor. If you found this video helpful, it would mean the world to me if you would give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell as well as the subscribe button, and join the community as it grows. So see you next time. Bye!